Hello everybody, thanks for watching. This next pattern, it's a March Brown, a variant of the March Brown, which is a 300-year-old pattern, been around forever. This one's called the Gold March Brown. You see the gold body, doesn't have the hare's rabbit body dubbing. So I will explain the materials of this one as I go and put the recipe in the description. So first off, I got a size 12 1x long wet fly hook. I'm going to lay down a base of black UTC 70 denier. Take it back to about where the barb would be, start of the bend, before we tie on our tail feathers, tail fibers, tail. So for the tail of this thing, it is just partridge hackle. Some fibers from the partridge hackle. It's a pretty sparse tail, maybe 8 or 10 fibers of this thing right here. Just pull them straight out from the side and try to get them lined up. Let's see, what do we have here? Okay, yeah, that looks fine right there. And the length of the tail, about a hook gap. So I'm going to push that down against the hook. Yeah, medium pinch wrap right there. 1 wrap, 2 wraps. Check your positioning before you really lock it in. Are you on top? Are we there? Yeah, pretty good. So I like that. Now you could trim these off. I don't. I just bury them in the body to try and keep it uniform as possible. With this silver mylar body, any big lumps kind of stand out. So I've got one little fiber sticking off right there. I'll go ahead and trim that one. So next component, it is our rib. For this one, it's gold tinsel, oval tinsel, so in size small. So I started up at the top, at the front. Pull it back a little bit here, so I'll have less to trim off, and then just let it run down the top or the side of your hook. Try to keep it parallel to the hook. That way you don't create any awkward looking twists in your body. If you just tied it in back here at the tail, you would probably cause a lump back there. So, okay. Now I've got that little bit on front I need to trim off, but that's alright. So next component, it's our mylar tinsel. Gold and silver, this is size 14. I guess that would be a medium size. Tie it with the gold side toward the hook. That way when we flip it and spin it, the gold side will be up. So I'm going to catch it in about right here and lock it in to the back to where I want to start wrapping it. Okay, and the fewer turns you can do for that, the better. The more even your body will be. Now get your thread back up here to the front. Now normally doing this fly I would just part my thread and use the rotary function, but with this big green backdrop about 4 inches behind me, I'm not going to do that. So I will speed up this next minute or so. Okay, now what I do when I get back to the front of this, after a couple locking wraps, I will fold this tinsel back over on itself and get 1 or 2 wraps back there just to make extra sure it is secure. Now to wrap the rib, counter wraps from what the body was. I did the body over and then under back toward me, so I'm going to start with the under on this one. Now just evenly spaced. On a size 12 here, probably we'll get 5 or 6 wraps. So evenly spaced up here to where we want to tie it off, and I think that will be fine. So a couple wraps right there. Don't let it unwind on you. Okay, I think we're in there and we're locked. So just a couple more components and we'll be done with this thing. Let's see, where do I want to trim this off? Right there. Okay, So that same partridge we used just a minute ago for the tail, grab a little bit more this time, maybe, I don't know, 12 or 14 fibers for the beard. So just pull these out. That's probably about enough right there. Flip it upside down. Now I tie this in to about the point, maybe just a little bit past the point of the hook. So let's get a couple of wraps right here and then adjust it if we need to. So I think that is where I want it. So make sure it's not coming off to the side too much. So look at your bird's eye view. Yeah, they're coming straight down pretty well. So a couple locking wraps right here. Now trim the butt ends of these partridge fibers off. If I can get my scissors in here with this backdrop in front of me. That looks short enough. Okay, so now get your thread where you want the tie-in point for the wings to be. So I'm taking it right back to the back there. Now for this wing, it's hen pheasant. Hen pheasant primary flight feathers, just 2 slips from matching pair. You'll see they're a little bit mottled, they're a little bit natural color. I like the wing on this to be about halfway through the tail, but remember when I tie it in, it's going to yank it up a little bit. So that's probably about the length I want. So I'm going to pinch wrap this tight in my material hand, kind of loose right here, and then as I cinch this down, take a look at it. Alright, I can get one more wrap right there. I want to take a look at the position before I really lock it in. Am I on top, bird's eye view? Yeah, pretty well on top, so I'm going to go with that instead of trying to pull these feathers off and wrap them again. So let's make sure I got enough wraps in here. Sometimes snipping these off might cause them to spin on you. So cut these off about as short as you can get it. We'll be able to bury that rest in the head right there. So just start your thread back up by the eye and build a little ramp up and capture these butt ends as you go. So it's a wet fly. You don't have to make a tiny head on it, but you know, you don't need it to be huge either. So I think that'll be fine right there. I got a little stray fiber from my thread coming off, but I think we can whip finish this, a drop of head cement, and we'll call this guy done. The gold March brown can also be tied with silver. So just silver tinsel and silver ribbing, and you got the silver March brown. So that's it. That wing might be a little bit lower than I like, but I think that'll do. So anyway, folks, if you've watched this far, I really appreciate it, and I hope you will consider subscribing. That's all. Thank you.